Gentlemen, if you've been getting mixed signals from a woman, it's time for some tough truth. You've probably heard it 100 times, but I'm here to give you a fresh perspective. If she's not showing interest in you, there's a strong chance she just doesn't want you. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. Women are great at sending signals, both loud and silent. And if you're not paying attention, you might end up wasting your time chasing someone who's simply not that into you. It's not always the dramatic exit or the cold "I need space" speech. In fact, it's often the small, subtle signs that indicate you're not on her radar. It's time to stop pretending and start seeing the reality for what it is. No more guessing games. But here's where it gets controversial. Men choose to ignore these signs. Why? Because of ego. You convince yourself that the relationship might blossom if you just give it time. Maybe, just maybe, she needs you to be more patient. Spoiler alert. If she really wanted to be with you, you wouldn't need to pull out all your mental gymnastics to understand where things are heading. It's that simple. Now, don't get me wrong. Every woman has her own pace. Maybe she's got a busy life or is taking things slow for reasons that aren't related to you. But if her actions are constantly showing zero interest, it's time to reevaluate. Understanding these signs isn't about playing games. It's about respecting yourself and your time. Let's take a closer look at the clear signs that prove she's not into you. And trust me, once you spot them, you'll realize it's not as complicated as you once thought. 1. She's always too busy for you. Gentlemen, let's face it. Everyone is busy in today's world. Life is fast, responsibilities pile up, and we all have our to-do lists. But here's the truth. If a woman is interested in you, she'll find the time for you. No one's that busy that they can't give a few moments to someone they care about. And if she's always too busy for you, it's a major red flag that you're not a priority. When a woman tells you she's busy all the time, especially when you suggest plans, chances are she's either A, avoiding you, or B, not interested enough to make an effort. Let's break it down. If she's truly invested in you, she'll work around her schedule. She might need to juggle a few things here and there, but she will still carve out time to hang out or talk to you. If every time you reach out, she's got an excuse ready, a meeting, a friend visiting, an overwhelming workload, she's putting up walls. The truth is, when she wants you in her life, she finds a way. This doesn't mean there won't be times when she genuinely can't make it due to life circumstances. But if every single invitation gets shot down with "I'm too busy," and you're left wondering if it'll ever change, you're likely not on her mind the way you'd want to be. The worst part? This isn't always a blatant rejection, making it even more frustrating to deal with. Think about it. When you're really into someone, you make room for them. You push aside those random activities and prioritize what really matters. If her schedule is always packed, but there's zero mention of making space for you in the future, it might be time to stop believing her excuses. Now let's be clear. A woman's life could be genuinely hectic, and perhaps she truly does have a lot on her plate. But if she likes you, you'll feel the effort, even in small ways. Otherwise, you're simply chasing a ghost, wasting your energy on someone who won't ever be there. She'll act like the stars align for everyone else, and yet, when it comes to you, the stars somehow disappear. 2. She only replies to your texts on her own terms. Here's the harsh reality, gentlemen. If she's only responding to your texts when it's convenient for her, you're not a priority. We've all been there. The game of texting back and forth, trying to read between the lines of a delayed response. But let me tell you, a woman who is truly interested in you won't make you jump through hoops to get a simple reply. At first, you might convince yourself it's no big deal. She's just busy, you might think, as her response time drags. But after a while, you start noticing a pattern. She responds when she feels like it, never seems to rush to reply, or maybe leaves you on read. When this starts happening regularly, it's a surefire sign that she doesn't see you as someone she values enough to make time for. The reality is, we all have our phones in hand constantly nowadays. If she wanted to talk, she would. Think about it. If she's really interested, she'll hit you back almost immediately, even if it's just to let you know she's busy, but still thinking of you. There's a balance between being busy and being responsive. It's all about effort, and effort is something she's either willing to give or not. Here's the kicker. When a woman is genuinely into you, she's not sitting there playing some texting game. She wants you to know that you matter. So while it's totally normal for her to take a little time to get back to you once in a while, it's a red flag when you're left waiting for hours, or even days, with no explanation. especially if the situation is one-sided. You're pouring effort into the conversation, but her level of interest is basically reflected in those one-word answers or silence. If you're the one always initiating conversation, this should be setting off alarm bells. And here's the thing that stings the most. The more you chase, the less effort she'll put in. You're effectively telling her that you're okay with the bare minimum. If you find yourself waiting for her to text only to be met with vague or half-hearted responses, it's time to cut the rope. Because let's be honest, any woman who values you will make sure she at least replies in a timely manner, or at the very least explains her silence. 3. Her body language screams no. Gentlemen, let me be straight with you. Words are often overrated when it comes to reading a woman's true feelings. Her body will tell you everything you need to know. The thing is, we all send and receive signals without even realizing it. Body language speaks volumes, and when a woman isn't into you, her nonverbal cues can be the biggest red flag. Here's the thing. Women are not always going to come out and tell you directly that they're not interested. It's often easier to let their actions speak for them, which can make it harder to catch on, unless you know what you're looking for. If her body language is constantly closed off, uncomfortable, or avoids yours, it's because she doesn't feel any chemistry. This isn't a mystery. It's a sign she's either not feeling you or she just doesn't want to engage in that kind of connection. When a woman pulls away from you, whether it's backing up when you get too close, crossing her arms, or turning her body away while talking to you, those are cues that she's not feeling comfortable. She may be trying to create emotional distance without saying a word. And let me tell you, those are signs that are impossible to ignore. If you try to make a genuine connection, whether with touch or by leaning in a bit closer, and she consistently moves back or stiffens up, it's more than just being shy. It's a clear sign she's not open to what you're offering. This can be frustrating because while she might still enjoy talking to you on some level, she's signaling she doesn't see anything deeper. And trust me, that's not something you want to overlook. And the eye contact, or the lack thereof. If you notice she's constantly avoiding it or looking around the room, it's because she doesn't want to engage in the way you're hoping for. Sometimes she'll make eye contact, but it's not with warmth or connection. It's either out of politeness or as a way of being socially courteous. Real interest is visible in how someone looks at you. If she's not looking at you with genuine interest, don't mistake that for shyness. It's just disinterest. These nonverbal cues are powerful indicators. She can say all the right things, but her body will always speak louder. Pay attention to how she acts around you, how she positions herself when you're close, and how she responds to the smallest attempts to connect. That's where the truth lies. 4. You always initiate contact, never. Her gentleman, this one should hit close to home, but it's time to face the truth. If you're the one always initiating contact, and it feels like she's never making an effort, then something's off, and it's time you woke up to that reality. You know exactly what I mean. You're the one texting first, reaching out to set plans, calling her up because you want to hear her voice. But when it comes time for her to take the lead, it's crickets. That silence is loud enough. The simple fact is, if a woman is into you, she won't leave all the heavy lifting to you. And here's where the tough love comes in. You have to stop accepting it. This one is on you, fellas. You're allowing this dynamic to happen. If you constantly initiate contact and she never steps up to show that she's equally interested, you're doing a disservice to yourself. It might feel like you're showing care and commitment, but the truth is, you're teaching her that it's okay to let you do all the work. You're chasing her while she's passively sitting back, letting you put in all the effort. And here's the wake-up call. This isn't how a healthy connection should work. Relationships are meant to be a two-way street. If you're the only one walking down it, you're getting nowhere. It's not just about showing interest. It's about being mutually engaged. Listen, I get it. You may convince yourself she's shy or that she'll come around eventually, but deep down, you know what's going on. If she were interested in you, she would reach out sometimes too. You don't need to send dozens of messages to keep the momentum alive. She'll reach out, she'll initiate conversations, and she'll plan dates. It should never be one-sided. So what's the advice here? It's simple. Wake up. Stop chasing someone who isn't putting in the same effort. Take a step back. Let her see that you won't be running after her indefinitely. You deserve someone who will meet you halfway, not just accept the free ride. And most importantly, don't mistake her lack of effort for a sign of uncertainty. It's just disinterest. 5. She doesn't get jealous or show any emotion toward other women around you. All right, let's dive into this final sign, one that might sting a little, But it's essential to recognize, if she doesn't get jealous or show any sort of emotion when other women are around you, it's because she's not invested in you. You might be thinking, isn't jealousy a bad thing? Do I really want someone who gets possessive or uncomfortable when other women are around? I get where you're coming from, but here's the difference between healthy attention and someone who's just not interested. When a woman likes you, really likes you, she'll care about who you spend time with. She'll want to know you're interested in her. It's human nature. If she's indifferent when you talk about or spend time with other women, it could mean she doesn't feel that connection to you. Emotional investment breeds emotional reactions. A woman who's genuinely interested won't just sit back quietly and be passive when she sees you with other women. Sure, she might not want to control your social life or be possessive, but there should be some kind of emotional reaction. That reaction could be jealousy, curiosity, or even just an increased interest in making more of a connection with you. If her face stays blank or she's calm while you're chatting with another woman, she might not care because she doesn't see you as someone she needs to fight for. It's the opposite of how you'd expect her to feel if she was emotionally invested. You're just another guy in the crowd. She's not bothered, and she's definitely not thinking about keeping you close. But let me be clear, this isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate jealousy. You shouldn't force reactions by intentionally interacting with other women just to see if she cares. The point is this: genuine emotional reactions naturally happen when there's a strong connection. If a woman is fully into you, her heart will react, whether it's a little protective or a little jealous. If those feelings aren't showing, it's because she simply doesn't have those deeper feelings for you. So instead of searching for validation from her indifference, take a moment to assess whether you're getting the attention and care you deserve. Because in the end, someone who truly values you will care about what happens when other people come into the picture. Here's the cold, hard truth. If a woman doesn't show interest in you through her actions, then no amount of texting, calling, or persistence is going to change her feelings. It's time to stop fooling yourself into believing you can change someone's mind with your effort alone. Relationships should never feel one-sided. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you experienced any of these signs? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about it. I'll personally reach out because at the end of the day, this isn't just about you watching me. It's about building a connection.